Slack side guide out. Go for the tight side guide. Don't do that. Monster's Garage. Now here's a tricky one. All the racers will use a sheet metal retainer that keeps this from shooting out. So the guys that use the wooden block to keep their timing chains, they're good at it. I'm not good at it. I say pull the front cover off, you can get it nice and tight, and I'll show you how to do that. When I say Japanese stuff, I usually mean Japanese OEM, made in Japan stuff. If it's not made in Japan, don't get the like mailing timing kits. Sometimes they have a USA made sprocket and you can't see the V-notch on the sprocket. And they have a Taiwan chain and tensioner. It's probably alright in a pinch, but importedcarparts.com or Mr-Auto-Parts.com has them really cheap, and they even have the OS Geiken brand for the L20s, and the OS Geiken was famous for the twin cam head. They say there's a gasket right here for these, but I've never seen them myself. So what we do is, you don't have to take the chain off. What you do is just pull this fuel pump eccentric bolt out. Keep this all clean. This motor has only 40,000 miles on it, so I'll probably still use the chain, and I'll put a new tensioner guide in here. Pull this out. Drop the chain down like that. And next you can go for the head bolts and use a 10mm Allen. I have them already loosened up, so use this little Allen wrench. I got them all pretty much all broke loose already, so usually try to work your way from the inside out. Okay, what we have here is I got all the head bolts off. I pulled them all off, except this one. I usually put them in a carburetor cleaner, chem dip or something, and clean them up. I do use the old bolts, especially on the L16. They only have 40 pounds. Get a breaker bar. Make sure everything looks like it's loose, clear. Your dowel is in your 12 o'clock position, so you know that's a timed cam. Stick it in the exhaust port gently. And don't let the head fall off. Take it. Don't put it on the valves. That is pretty much it. You will check your head gasket, see if you see anything obvious that looks bad. Of course, you'll put a new one every time you use these. I use Nissan gaskets, others use Pro or the Victor Rins. If you're using an L20B and you have oversized pistons, make sure the gasket doesn't go into the bore. If it does, look at the Nissan competition book, and they have an 87mm and an 88, I believe. And you can go on nissanparts.cc. Look in the book for the part number. You can go to the internet, nissanparts.cc. enter M as in motorsport, dash, then enter the part number and the price should come up. Or call Motorsports if you have a book. Price is about 75 to 100 bucks. Sometimes they're on sale. Take the gasket off, put a new one on. What I always do, just so you get familiar with your motor, you can see that it's on top dead center. You can always take your front cover, you can always take your front cover, put it back on, you put your front cover back on, grab your pulley, put your pulley on, look where your zero was, and so you can see where the piston is, and you can probably be -5 degrees off. As long as you get it, just get it to zero, your piston top dead center. Remember, this piston right up here, top dead center, is pretty much flat. I grabbed the camera and show you, but you gotta be a total idiot. But then again, I've run across a few of them. I've seen a lot of guys at 510s in the yards, and they like collecting them, but they don't know how to fix them. So what next is, I'll just leave these front seals on for demonstration purposes. This is a L21 that I cut because I didn't want to use my regular gaskets, just for demonstrating and wearing them out. But what I do is, hold on a second. I use this Permatex 6B. It's kind of a blue RTV silicone. It's about $6. I like it. What I'll do is just pretend this gasket is not on there. What I'll do is I'll put a lighter coat of blue Permatex around the water passages and on the outer edge of the gasket. Just a light coat. Don't do like those V8 guys, like they do those V8 intakes and they have that red RTV. Really, what I do is I use the Felpro light blue ones. They're nice, really nice gaskets. Sometimes I use the Permatex High Tech. It's a red stuff. You spray it on there. It's real sticky, so make sure you don't drop it. Put it on there, and it's enough to keep it in place also. Or you can use the blue RTV, just enough. High tack the gaskets, put that on, and then get some. Once you have this gasket on, put some little bit more, and it's not a lot. See how there's like a little ridge, and it's perfect. And put that in there. Call it good. This is in the Napa kit, the Victor Wrens. So that's for doing front covers. If you just by chance didn't lower that oil, you take those bolts out. And you lower. What I do is I loosen the 10mm screws all up around the oil pan, and I drop it so it doesn't tear that front part of that gasket, since most of those gaskets are one piece. But the Napa has these. I did not know till recently, and it's a good thing to have. We'll get a couple spares, so you'll be ready to do this. Do it now. So now we pretty much check your can gear, but most of these I never see the lower ones really wear out. And if you do get them, get a Japanese one. What we'll do is, assume we put I use copper coat, Permatex copper coat. I spray it on, I usually use a Nissan gasket. I'll spray it, let it get tacky, put it right on the dowels, and my head's ready to go on if you think your head is straight. Grab the head. Line it up into the dowels. One goes in. that one is in. That's pretty much it. Next we'll put our head bolts in. If you guys want to go L20 guys or hypo, you can put the 280Z turbo bolts and they'll have a 13 on there. Make sure you use the washer. Okay, what I did is I put all the head bolts in there. I got them in there loose. Put them all down snug. Make sure you have a good torque wrench. Hopefully a real good one. Get these all down. So we'll just make a cut on this. Okay, what we have is I got all my head bolts in and we will torque them down. You always go from the center on out. I do mine in increments of 20. Do a long, even stroke. Really very simple. You guys are going to run turbocharged motors. You probably might want to use the ARP studs. This is also in the Hainz manual, or how to rebuild your Datsun book. Maybe look on Amazon.com, spend the money, get it. Remember, work from the inside out. You got to make sure the exact procedure. I'm just doing this to show you how. The turbo bolts are about 60 pounds, so you end up doing that like 3 times. Got my cat Snowball watching. We call this is 20 pounds, but assume it's an L16, it's 40, or whatever the spec book says. That's pretty much it on that. Remember when you put the head on the dowel's in the 12 o'clock position, because you can't go wrong. Number 1 piston is up, so you don't hit anything. That's pretty much, that's all it is that takes to time these things. Very simple. So what I'll do now is give a basic cam description. Here's a Japanese cam. We have position 1. When you put this on the 12 o'clock position up here, your bright link on your Japanese chain will go to number 1, which is at the 2 o'clock position. Everything's based on the 2 o'clock position on here. Cam sprocket dial is always 12 o'clock position. So you can go 1,